Super Rugby Aotearoa, round 10, the final round. A couple of dead rubbers ended up being dead entertaining, I would say. Both kind of look like hidings. 41-22 and 39-19 are pretty similar scorelines, aren't they? But both games kind of blew out at the end to make the scorelines look more one-sided than they were. I'll start with the first one, and to be fair, it was probably the pick of the two games. 41-22. Look at all these tries for the Hurricanes. Absolutely bananas. It was the Highlanders, though, that got the first points on the board. Their scrum was looking the better of the two. 3-0. But it was the Hurricanes who got the first try through Flanders. Great hands, man. It was Coles, Karifi. All these guys were really just kind of throwing caution to the wind. 7 points to 3. And the Hurricanes went close again a few minutes later. Laumape had a big line break. They had advantage. They went back for penalty and they went for touch, but they were unable to convert. A few minutes later, though, both Mitch Hunt and Dane Coles get yellow carded for a bit of off-the-ball stuff. Was like a high tackle by Mitch Hunt, and then Dane Coles putting a bit of his elbow into Mitch Hunt's face on the ground, and just silly stuff. Dane Coles just having a bit of fun, of course. But yeah, both guys get yellow carded, so it's 14v14. Jimeno has a big old carry on 17 minutes, and that helps set up Dixon. That's Josh, who goes over for the try for the Canes to put them back in front. 10 points to 7. I wrote a couple of notes saying the Canes scrum is under the pump on 21 and then again on 24. At that point, the yellow cards are over, so it's back to 15-15. The Highlanders got the next try, Nadeki, on 28 minutes. I wrote a note that the Highlanders are not going for 3 points, and it was kind of nice. For the most part, these games, both sides, well, all the sides, were not really opting for penalties. There were a few. I mean, the Chiefs did, but the other sides were pretty much just kind of keen to throw caution to the wind, really. But yeah, they got a try through Nadeki, really well taken, 17 points to 7. 34 minutes, the Hurricanes actually managed to win a scrum penalty in the Highlanders 22. They went for touch, but they blew their chance at a try. 36 minutes, there was a captain's referral, which is one of the dumber ones you'll ever see. Harmon was saying that Coles kind of like stomped on him, I guess. But it was Harmon who was holding his foot at the breakdown, so Harmon ends up getting penalised. I'm honestly still not sold on the captain's referral. I feel like they waste a bit of time. Anyway, a minute later, the Hurricanes end up getting a try. Who gets it? Dane Coles, the man who the Highlanders were trying to kind of get punished again with the captain's referral. He gets the try, peeling off after a maul. They missed the conversion, but it's 17 points to 12. And the Hurricanes knock on at the kickoff, but they win a penalty in their own 22. Geordie Barrett has a big old kick. It goes not out, but then Gilbert's clearance is pretty awful, so the Hurricanes still get a line out deep into Highlanders territory, and they end up scoring from it. There's a big old cross kick that Laumape put it in, but it goes dead, but they end up getting a penalty back for the advantage anyway, so they end up kicking it, and it's 15 points to 17 at halftime. Honestly, it's madness. It's madness in that first half, and it goes on. Hurricanes go 7 phases and get a try through Laumape right at the start of the second half. Good reward for him because he'd been pretty lively. 22-17, so they are back in front. Gilbert looks to have scored a try on 44 minutes. Frizzell and Harmon, good carries, man, in the build-up. 13 phases. A big Aaron Smith pass opened things up, but they captain's referral it for a knock-on, and it is a good challenge because there's a knock-on by Evans in the build-up. So as much as I don't like the captain's challenges, for the most part, I can see why there is times where they are useful. 52 minutes, Karifi gets a try. The line out move goes to Love. He sees a big old gap, puts the hammer down, his pass, and they go over. 29-17. Dixon gets one back for the Highlanders from a maul. They missed the conversion though, so it's 29-22. That's game on, but that's kind of the last she wrote for the Highlanders because Tompkinson goes off for an HIA after running into Peter Umaga-Jensen's hip. And then Iose gets a try. Laumape with a big old line break from a scrum in their own half. It was probably the try of the match, that one, 34-22. Rouse gets one on the left wing in space, and I thought it's proper hiding now, 41-22. So, man, Iose showed some proper gas for a Lucy, didn't he? Laumape and Rouse both finished with 130 plus run meters Lamapa 7 defenders beaten. Rayasi 10 defenders beaten. Phenomenal stuff. Very exciting. Dixon that's Josh for the Highlanders has 12 out of 13 tackles. The Highlanders finished with more possession, more territory, but their tackling rate was 74%, which is poor. The Hurricanes made 764 run meters. 764. That's honestly bonkers numbers. That's about as many as we saw in the whole Blues Chiefs game, and that's just one team. The Highlanders had 399, so it was all action this game, man. It was really crazy. Aaron Smith got a good tackle on Almu at one point. He was lively. Aaron Smith always puts in a good shift. There was a popcorn. Was it popcorn or chicken container at some point rolling across the field? Like, come on, Wellington, man. Don't throw your rubbish on the field. Not a good look. It's not the first time that's happened. Anyway, good win for the Canes. They finish off the Aotearoa season with a good win. Their second win. They've had the wood over the Highlanders, but nobody else thus far. The next game, also pretty crazy, and it was a pretty tough watch for the Blues fans for the start, man. I mean, the Chiefs played a real B team in this game, and they were playing pretty good. They were written off, but they played pretty well. They got the first points through a penalty. Zahn Sullivan tried a long distance one, but his was short. The Blues went 13 phases on 9 minutes, but were held up. The ball was just so slow. Slow ball is just useless ball, man. 10 minutes, Sokula gets a big old line break. I thought he threw his pass too early. They could have potentially gone in for a try, the Chiefs, but the cover defenders managed to get there. Capelli was putting in some big hits for the Chiefs as well, but it was Eklund who gets the first try. Someone compared it to a Cody Taylor style try. It was the big hooker with the big line break. It was an average pass from Christie. He threw the ball kind of towards Eklund's head, but he still managed to regather it and beat Norris, the prop, and he powered over for the try. So 7 points to 3. The Chiefs had a try TMO'd on 20 minutes, kind of because their winger was held in the tackle, I guess is what it was. It was one of those ones where it's kind of 50-50. Is he held or is he just tackled? They ruled it no try, which was maybe a tough one on the Chiefs, but they still kicked the penalty a couple of minutes later to make it 7-6, so kind of consolation for the missed try. Triple T, that's Tahuriorangi, got a penalty conceded for a tip tackle, which is a weird one. You don't often see halfbacks get penalised for that kind of thing, but it happened. And then the Blues punished them with a try through Adrian Choate. The TMO did have a check of it, but they said it was all good, and it's 14 points to 6. The Blues back out to a decent lead. 34 minutes is one of the weirdest moments of the game. The Chiefs have got a real period of sustained pressure. Norris goes over for a try. I wrote that it had to come because it was just such good pressure from the Chiefs. The Blues go for a captain's referral, but Tom Robinson's so out of breath he can't really hear what he's saying, but he's under pressure because he's got the 10-second clock limit to make the referral. The ref says, nah, take your time, catch your breath, so we're all waiting, which is just the deal with it. They go back and look at a bizarre pass from Tahuriorangi. I don't know what on earth happened. He passes it backwards to like nobody. It's the weirdest pass. Go back and watch the highlights and tell me what happened with that pass. And they want to check if the Chiefs guys have knocked it on. They rule that there's no knock on, but that Stevenson, who gathered the loose ball after the other Chiefs player hadn't knocked it on, was in front of him, which is weird because if the ball went backwards, how was he in front of the ball carrier? I don't really get it. It was bizarre. Someone explain it to me. And then they say, okay, the challenge is successful, but then they're going to go back for a Chiefs advantage because the Chiefs had advantage, but then the refs figure it out that the Blues incident that the captain's referral happened before the Chiefs would have got advantage, so it's a Blues penalty. It's a shambles, man. Honestly. It's a shambles. We're all waiting for a bloody long time. Anyway, the Blues get a penalty. The Chiefs do get a deserved penalty right before halftime, though, to make it 14 points to 9. So it's hardly convincing. It's still game on. Possession and territory are with the Blues. Run meters with the Chiefs. And the Chiefs' tackling percentage is 89, which is really good. The Blues are at a poor 81. Not poor, but like barely acceptable. Second half, the Blues lose their captain's referral. Kauli Tuioti thought he had scored, but he didn't. and it was a pretty poor one to lose your captain's referral on. 48 minutes, Chiefs kick a penalty to make it a 2-point ball game, 14-12. But maybe that's when the Blues really start to wake up. It does get tied up later on, though. Sullivan gets a try for the Blues. They regathered a box kick really well. Got it out to the left. They missed the conversion, though, so it's 19-12. I thought the Blues were too casual on defense for Stevenson's try. The Chiefs got some turnover ball, and the Blues were just kind of caught flat-footed. They found space out left, and it was 19-19. Great conversion. From then, the Chiefs don't get any more points. The Blues get another 20. They opt for 3 from a good restart, 22-19, and then Sotutu off the back of a big scrum, 29-19. They did captain's challenge it for obstruction, but there was no dice with that one. So AJ Lamb got the first of his 2 on 77. It was a maul, and Sotutu kind of basketball passed it. They got it out wide, and it was 34-19. And then AJ Lamb got a second, a poor line out, but they recovered it. Kind of a lucky try, 39-19. They missed about half their kicks, the Blues, but still won pretty comfortably against a second string Chiefs team with a bunch of debutants in it. So not exactly convincing for the Blues, but at this point in the season, we will definitely take a win. Not sure that it'll do much to dent the Chiefs' confidence going into their game against the Crusaders because they rested most of the big guns anyway. Sotutu finishes with 55 run meters and 5 defenders beaten. Slater makes 11 out of 11 tackles. The run meters are pretty even, 407 to 379. Turnovers conceded is 10 to 16, so neither side will be very happy with that. Possession Blues finished with 60%, territory 59%. The Blues tackling percentage is 80%, which is pretty average. Whereas the Chiefs are at 87. They have to make more tackles. But yeah, lots of tries. Crazy games. I guess that can happen when nothing is really on the line. The Chiefs were the only team really opting for the points because they knew they needed to keep the scoreboard ticking over to keep the game kind of under control. They didn't want to be just going toe-to-toe with the Blues. They wanted to play it smarter. And it worked for much of the game, but over the 80, the Blues just had the legs. But anyway, one more game to go. Super Rugby Aotearoa. Trans-Tasman is on the horizon, assuming the COVID thing doesn't put paid to that. But anyway, you guys let me know your thoughts on these games. Outstanding performers, good moments. Tell me what happened with that bloody captain's referral, because I got no idea. It just was, how can you be in an offside position if the ball went backwards? Don't know. But anyway, someone will tell me and I will be educated. Like the video if you got this far through it. I would appreciate it. And I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.